It's July 30th. Welcome on into Daily Cards, the trade deadline edition, right here on ClavesOnline.com, presented by Mungenast, St. Louis Acura, and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. And Rammer, we are just minutes removed from the trade deadline coming to an end. And I don't think that I am overreacting. I don't think I'm overselling this any way possible when I say that this is the biggest trade deadline that we have seen in the history of Major League Baseball.
Padres, super team. Dodgers, super team. Giants, big missing piece. White Sox, super team. Mets, huge piece added. Who am I leaving out?
The Yankees.
Yankees, close to a super lineup. Red Sox, close to a super lineup. These have been remarkable, 36, 48 hours. Really remarkable.
It is. So I don't know where exactly we should start with this because there is just
we just had a text come in
Blue Jays.
about the Blue Jays.
There you go.
Too.
B-Dog 1246 says Blue Jays too.
Yep.
They go and add on to that. And we have more viewers right now of this show than we've ever had before, just to show you how important, how big of a deal this is. I'll read this. We're going to go through. We're going to break up. I just wanted, you mentioned all the super teams just quickly. 10 players who were all-stars this year in Denver are now have been traded. Joey Gallo, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Gibson, Adam Frazier, Eduardo Escobar, Kyle Schwarber, Max Scherzer, Craig Kimbrell, Trey Turner, and Chris Bryant. 10 all-stars have been traded. It's insane what we just have seen happen. And I guarantee you, Rammer, while we're sitting here and we're doing this live right now, it's 3:07. Another trade is going to come through. There is going to be some trickle-down trade that comes through. I don't know who it's going to be. Trevor Story is still out there to be traded. There are still possibilities of a move happening.
Yeah, I don't know who it would be left, but yeah, that would be the thing. And I don't want to discount your analysis of the numbers, but those checking in with us today live, I think they were looking for us to be traded. I think that's why the numbers are bigger.
And as I sit there and I say this, I am saying this as I look at the account and I make sure they are verified accounts. Jesse Rogers of ESPN, who covers MLB for the White Sox and the Cubs for ESPN.com, just tweeted out per a source, John Lester is going to the Cardinals.
Really?
I told you we should start this show at 3:00. Maybe we should have pushed it back to 3:15. I'm just and I sat here and I'm looking to make sure that this is a verified account that is saying this. So there, John Lester with the Nationals this season. That's coming from Jesse Rogers, and I know that you weren't happy with what the Cardinals just did at the trade deadline, but Rammer, if that is true, what do you think of that?
Let's go for what we know is real first. Oh, did we mention Berrios earlier?
We did not. No.
So I don't really get the first deal, Gant and Happ.
J.A. Happ, by the way, because I confused you with the text I sent you, so let's not confuse the viewers. J.A. Happ, the left-handed former Philly and Astro starter who was with the Twins. Yes.
I would have been pissed off with either Happ. There's probably some underlying stuff that we're not aware of, but it seems to me we traded right-handed shit for left-handed shit. And that is not casting aspersions on those two gentlemen. By all accounts, Gant's a really good guy. He won some games. He's had some good seasons for the Cardinals. But it's clear the Cardinals lost confidence in him being able to throw strikes. And I wonder if he lost confidence in himself. But you trade him for Happ, his ERA is almost infinity. Whatever. Okay.
I'm going through here and I'm looking, and I think Jeff Jones, put it the best when he said, I think one of the reasons you go and you get a guy like Hap is to get rid of to let Johan Oviedo pitch in AAA.
I don't think you needed it. Well, but you already had. They're the same guy. They just throw from different sides of the plate. I don't get it.
But you don't worry about it. You don't mess with his progress.
It doesn't hurt the team. It doesn't help the team. It's inconsequential in my view. However, if there's any truth to the Lester thing, it is a nice stopgap to try and get you a couple of wins in August while you're waiting for Flaherty and Michaelis to come back, and maybe he ends up as your fifth starter if everybody were healthy. He's not who he was a couple of years ago when the Cubs were winning it all. He is not that guy anymore, but he's a pro, and he's a guy he can maybe get you a couple wins. So I'm okay with it if it's true.
Yeah, and I look at it more as a way to eat innings. But if this John Lester trade actually happens, I'd have to look at what his numbers have been this year in DC. It's a starter. You went out and you got a starter, and as of right now, it does not appear that the Cardinals made any kind of upgrades to. I guess shortstop would be the big upgrade that needed to be made, right?
Well, I felt they've needed bats since last year. I've said it 100 times on this show.
Rammer, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Jesse Doherty right now he covers the Nationals for the Washington Post. He also is on the John Lester to the Cardinals deal. It is John Lester for Lane Thomas.
Okay, that's fine. They need somebody to take the field, meaning DC. So they've moved some guys. They need some people to be able to actually go out and play in the field. So Lane will get a shot there. And Lester, like I say, worst case, he's past his prime, and you're probably no worse off than you are with the guys you're throwing this weekend anyway. And best case is he reaches back into time a little bit and can give you 10 starts that are decent or good, and helps you get through these next 2 weeks with games you can win, and tries and get you back in the race. I think it's fine, but I would caution fans not to get caught up into the John Lester name. I don't think he is who he was, but that doesn't mean he can't be who he was a few times between now and the end of the season.
I know that we don't have all of the details, all of the trades in front of us right now. We're not sure exactly. We can't sit here and go over each one individually. But as from the ones that you have seen that we've gone through, who would you say is the biggest winner of the trade deadline right now?
Well, here's one that if you just put it on a ledger sheet, you wouldn't say it, but I've not been able to figure out how the Giants win. And I just don't like their offense, but they've been good clutch. I just haven't seen it. Now they put another legitimate guy to go with Posey. Maybe that's enough. But having said all that, it's got to be the Dodgers. It's got to be the Dodgers, where you can have two of the best shortstops in the game playing together. They just really loaded up. And I think that might be more than the two left-handed hitters the Yankees landed, because I think the Dodgers pitching was already better. The Yankees did a very nice job in balancing out and lengthening their lineup. So those, to me, might be the two biggest winners. I think the White Sox were already great. They became a little greater, but I would say Dodgers, Yankees, and an interesting nod to the Giants.
Yeah, I think what the Yankees did to upgrade their offense, going out and getting Rizzo and Gallo, in Yankee Stadium, getting two left-handed bats
right.
out there. That's I think, and it's it's just the rich getting richer when you talk about the Yankees and Dodgers going out and doing what they did.
The Yankees weren't rich though; they were struggling. They needed to do it, but now this is just off the top of my head, lineup nerd. If you go LeMahieu, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Gallo, holy cow!
You could, I mean, yeah, you're going back and forth, left, right, and you look at how many of these guys also, are going to be free agents at the end of this offseason too, that are just rentals, and what went back in some of these deals. The Mets getting Baez, they gave up a big amount to get that. So now the Mets have, I know Lindor right now is hurt, but you have Baez and Lindor as your middle infield.
And so that rivals what the Dodgers offer. I like the Dodgers pair a little bit better, Lindor, but he's a guy it's been a head scratcher why he wasn't great all year. He was picking it up before he got hurt, so maybe those two together kind of light a fire for both of them. But I like Seager and Story a little bit better. It'll be really interesting, and I understand Seager will play short, and they'll move Turner to second. I really didn't know which one's considered a better defensive shortstop, but I looked at some numbers; they seem pretty close. But what it does, it allows Taylor to go to the outfield. Now, Dave Roberts has really hung in there with a guy who's been great for him in Cody Bellinger. Does this give Roberts leave to put Bellinger on the bench more? Or is he going to stick with him, not only stick with him, but stick with him hitting fourth or fifth? I mean, it's been a nightmare for Bellinger. So does it allow him to stick with him because he's got so many good parts around him? Or does it allow him to take him out because there are good, legitimate all-star replacements? So lineup nerd guy will be following that to see how Dave Roberts plays it.
Yeah, as I mean, God, you just you look at some of these benches of some of these teams. I think we talked about it the other day with the Padres. I mean, they're putting Hosmer on the bench after all the. I mean, the length that some of these teams are at right now going into the postseason is really fun to watch and fun to talk about with some of these teams. So that is. Yeah, it is.
And when you talk about the Cardinals, we don't know if we can make it. We're too far back. You could look at 2 or 3 of these trades, put those players, in particular, Scherzer and Turner. I think that would have made the Cardinals better than the Brewers. I sincerely believe that. Now, I'm not saying the Dodgers were going to. Or the Nats were going to listen to the Cardinals, but I'm just saying to say, oh, well, there's nothing that really the Cardinals could do because they're too far back and blah, blah, blah. I respectfully disagree. If those same deals would have been available.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through here just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. But here you go. This from Brandon Kiley of 101. ESPN. Here it could be your Cardinals rotation by the end of today, Rammer. Adam Wainwright, J.A. Happ, John Lester, Wade LeBlanc, and KK. 3 lefties. Rammer, the average age of those 5 gentlemen, 37 years old.
Yeah. A stopgap and I'm not sure why you're there. Those are the 2 acquisitions. So that list doesn't impress me at all.
No. So there you go. There you have it. John Lester, or I should say John Gant and J.A. Happ, they swap dugouts for tonight. I think they should just have them start against each other. I think that's the way they should just do that. The Cubs also just traded another guy. Jake Marisnick just went to the Padres. So the Cubs.
Yeah, so the Padres, the Padres really loaded that bench up now. You mentioned it. And maybe the Padres, even though, take a couple guys out of the lineup and put them on the bench, you say, but when we compare that to teams like the Cardinals, who, no offense to anybody, really don't have a bench, Now you got a stud starting lineup. You got legitimate former starters who can come off the bench and give you an opportunity to deliver. They're very, very deep, and it was already. Now the National League West, that's going to be their own Superliga.
Hey, Rammer, the a guy that you covered for many years, Tony La Russa, and you watched the way that he manipulated a bullpen day in and day out, and then got to the postseason and just went absolutely batshit when it came to the way that he did handle that in some of the games. He went out, and the White Sox go and get Craig Kimbrell to back up Liam Hendricks, or one way or the other. That is a frightening end to a bullpen there with those two at the back end, with some of the other arms they have there as well. It'll be really fun to watch La Russa manage in the playoffs with those two.
You know what he'll be able to do is, you don't worry about let's say you have close games that you're leading or tied 3 or 4 in a row. You don't worry about wearing anybody out. No. You got it that night. I got it this night. See you tomorrow. Got you the next day. Bring on the close games, because we have no problem doing it. And if guys need work, one or the other can be the setup guy. It's a beautiful situation for the skipper.
So the Cardinals, back to the Cardinals, they start a 3-game series tonight against the Twins. And going into it, we thought it was going to be Jose Barrios on the mound for Minnesota. It will now be Griffin Jax on the mound, number 83 in the Twins program. He's 1-1 with a 7.48 ERA. He does throw right-handed, though, Rammer. I know earlier you were concerned about a lefty on the mound.
We never heard of, yeah.
2 hitting the Cardinals. It is a righty on the mound.
Yeah, so you brought this up earlier in the week about the Cardinals having a 13-game stretch where if they're going to get back into this, they must not only compete for these 13 games, they've really got to dominate, and because time's running out. And normally you say the dog days of August, let's just survive, let's play decent ball and get there. Cardinals have to make up ground. And I'm going to be Joe Roderick for a moment and tell you the number. I really feel like if the Cardinals can't win 10 out of 13, the season's probably over, not because of who it's against now. I mean, yeah, you got to do it against them, and it's possible, but because then after that, you've got a really, really tough stretch of very competitive teams, and it's going to be difficult. It would be unreasonable to expect that kind of a winning percentage in that next segment of games. So you got to make hay now if you're going to survive the end of August and into September.
Yeah, this August schedule is very appealing for a team that wants to make a run, as they are 7.5 games back of the second wild card spot. They're 9 games back right now of the Brewers. So they need a lot of teams to play bad baseball, and a lot of those teams just got a whole lot better today. But again, if they're going to stay a 500 team, none of this matters. They don't need to be a 600. They need to be a 700 team the rest of the way out, with 60 games left on the schedule this year. They need to win.
I think 40. I disagree. I think 40 and 20 they catch the Brewers, but I just don't know if it's doable.
That means the Brewers would have to go. Play about 500 baseball. So
yeah, but if you're playing them, if you get 6 or 7 or 8 of those out of 40, it kind of starts to flip the numbers. Yeah,
so we will be back with you on Monday for the show. Go over what happened this weekend as I sit here one more time and I hit refresh, Rammer, and I see if any other trades have possibly trickled in that are of any note, and I don't see it. The Twins traded another reliever, Hansel Robles, so that's one less guy that'll be in the bullpen for the Twins this weekend. Before we get out of here, Rammer, though, this show brought to you by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and our friends at Royal Banks.
Yeah, with all the deals going on, you don't really worry about that with Royal Banks, because you want a bank that is steady, that you have confidence in them, that they work for you in a steady, non-reckless way. Royal Banks has really been that bank, folks, for over half a century. That's why they continue to grow. And while they grow, they feel like your neighborhood bank. You feel like you walk in, you know them, and you trust them to help you reach your financial goals. 314-212-1500 or online at royalbanksofmo.com. Royal
As we do each, go ahead.
Royal Banks, for better service means better banking. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Today's hat, I'm trying to, I don't know what that is. What are we looking at today?
That's Ursuline Academy, the girls' high school in St. Louis. My daughter and wife are both grads. My wife's the all-time leading scorer and rebounder, and my daughter won a volleyball district championship, and so we're Ursuline people.
So we're going high school today. This is the Alton High School alumni baseball hat. I have the alumni game.
I like it.
If it's not tomorrow, it'll be Sunday. It'll be played this weekend with the way the forecast is looking. Yeah, I designed these. I designed these just for the game. Red on the back. So
nice.
Yeah. I tell you what, being at the All-Star game a few weeks ago and seeing all the teams in their uniforms, the Orioles have the best hat. The Baltimore Orioles have the best hat. I have thought that for a while with the white front and the colors on the back, and that's kind of who I borrowed the idea from when I made this. So
I generally, although I really like your Alton hat, I generally don't love the different colored panels. Having said that, when the Expos came into existence in 1969, I went out and got the tricolor hat immediately, and as admittedly ugly as the old Padres and sometimes new Padres with the brown and the brown and the mustard yellow, kind of dingy yellow, and the tricolored hat, double colored Padres hats, I've always kind of had a thing for them too. So there are exceptions, and your hat is one of them.
I'm actually going to be heading out the door here soon. We have a golf outing the night before, and we have two members of the 1951 second place state runner-up team that will be attending the golf outing tonight and the game tomorrow. That's 1951. Rammer, they are 88 years old. They're coming out to golf with us tonight.
That is tremendous, and a tip of the cap to them.
Absolutely. I gave up golf 2 years ago. These at 34, these guys are still doing it at 88. So I cannot wait to meet them tonight. And here's hoping for a nice weather this weekend and some Cardinal victories, as we'll be back, as I said, on Monday to break it all down. This has been another edition of Daily Cards here on ClaibsOnline.com, presented by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick. He's Bob Ramsey. Back with you on Monday, everybody.
St. Louis Acura has an unbeatable selection of new cars, like the new TLX with $2,500 in loyalty conquest offers and 0.9% financing for up to 60 months. We have all new 22 MDXs with 1.9% financing for up to 60 months, or get a great deal on a new lease. You can get the 21 Acura ILX as low as $239 per month for 36 months, or the new 21 Acura RDX for as little as $399 per month for 36 months. St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.